Very good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss Unit 1, Chapter 2, Kingdom Animalia. Kingdom Animalia comprises millions of animal species, and studying them without a basic classification may lead to confusion. In addition to this, there are several new species of animals being constantly discovered. Classification is very essential for identification, naming, and assigning a systematic position to the newly discovered species. Animal kingdom is classified mainly based on the closely resembling characteristic features. Kingdom Animalia is characterized of eukaryotic, multicellular, heterotrophic organisms. They include about 35 phyla, of which 11 are considered as major phyla. Almost 99% of animals are invertebrates, or animals without backbone. The remaining represents vertebrates, or animals with backbone. On the basis of the presence or absence of notochord, that is vertebral column, animals are also categorized into two major groups, and they are non-chordates and chordates. Without vertebral column, with vertebral column. So non-chordates and chordates. Basis of classification. Multicellular organisms are structurally and functionally different, but yet they possess certain common fundamental features. So what are the common fundamental features? Arrangement of cell layers, the levels of organization, nature of coelom, the presence or absence of segmentation, notochord, and the organization of the organ system. So these are all the common fundamental features of multicellular organism. Next, let me pass on the levels of organization. All members of kingdom Animalia are metazoans. Metazoans are multicellular animals and exhibit different patterns of cellular organization. The cells of the metazoans are not capable of independent existence and exhibit division of labor. Among the metazoan, cells may be functionally isolated, or similar kind of cells may be grouped together to form tissues, organs, and organ system. So there are different levels: cellular level of organization, tissue level of organization, organ level of organization, organ system level of organization. So first, cellular level of organization. This is the basic level of organization, and it is seen in sponges. The cells in the sponges are arranged as loose aggregates and do not form tissues. That is, they exhibit cellular level of organization. There is division of labor among the cells, and different type of cells are functionally isolated. In sponges, the outer layer is formed of pinacocytes. It's nothing but plate-like cells that maintain the size and structure of the sponge. And the inner layer is formed of chanocytes. These are flagellated collar cells that create and maintain water flow through the sponge, thus facilitating respiratory and digestive function. So this is the cellular level of organization. Example, sponges. Next, tissue level of organization. In some animals, cells that perform similar functions are aggregated to form tissues. So tissues are group of cells. The cells of a tissue integrates in a highly coordinated fashion to perform a common function due to the presence of nerve cells and sensory cells. This tissue level of organization is exhibited in diploblastic animals like cnidarian, The formation of tissues is the first step towards evolution of body plan in animals. Very good example, Hydra, it belongs to Coelenterata. So this is about the tissue level of organization. Next, organ level of organization. Different kind of tissues aggregate to form an organ to perform a specific function. Organ level of organization is a further advancement over the tissue level of organization and appears for the first time in the phylum Platyhelminthes and seen in other higher phyla. So this is organ level of organization. Next, organ system level of organization. The most efficient and highest level of organization among the animals is exhibited by flatworms, nematodes, annelids, arthropods, mollusks, echinoderms, and chordates. The evolution of mesoderm in these animals has led to their structural complexity. The tissue are organized to form organs and organ systems. Each system is associated with a specific function and show organ system level of organization. Highly specialized nerve and sensory cells coordinate and integrate the functions of the organ system, which can be very primitive and simple or complex depending on the individual animal. For example, digestive system. So the digestive system are of two different types, incomplete digestive system and complete digestive system. The digestive system of Platyhelminthes has only a single opening to the exterior which serves as both mouth and anus, and hence it is called as incomplete digestive system. From Aschelminthes to chordates, all animals have a complete digestive system with two openings, the mouth and the anus. So these are all the two different types of digestive system. Incomplete digestive system, complete digestive system. Incomplete digestive system, here both mouth and anus are present exterior through a single opening. This is called as incomplete digestive system. Complete digestive system, animals have two openings, the mouth and the anus. Similarly, the circulatory system is of two types, open type and closed type. What is open type? Open type in which the blood remains filled in tissue spaces due to the absence of blood capillaries. For example, arthropods, mollusks, echinoderms and urochordates. Next, closed type in which the blood is circulated through blood vessels of varying diameters, arteries, veins and capillaries, as in annelids, cephalochordates and vertebrates. So these are all the two different types of circulatory system in organism. So this is about organ system level of organization. So today we discuss levels of organization, cellular level of organization, tissue level of organization, organ level of organization and organ system level of organization. That's all about today's class. Thank you.